Kentucky debate, the candidates sparred over why more Kentuckians aren't working and what could fix that.
And the very first thing that we can do is universal pre-K for all 4-year-olds. When they did it in Washington, D.C., it got people back into the workforce quickly. It is the fastest way that we can save our parents about $18,000. We can have every child kindergarten ready, but we can directly impact that workforce.
Childcare is commonly cited as a reason many have not returned to the workforce. Now, in a report published just last week, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce says the following factors are contributing to the labor shortage: early retirements, low levels of immigration, lack of access to childcare, new business starts, and increase in savings, although high levels of inflation certainly changing that math. Now, in a 2021 report from the Kentucky Chamber, they said the following factors specifically in Kentucky are contributing to it: retirement boom, a skills gap, lack of childcare, substance use disorder, health, incarceration and criminal records, slow population growth, transportation, infrastructure and broadband, and government assistance programs. But data shows it's also true, as Cameron claims, that the pandemic was tough on child care centers. Employment in that industry remains below pre-pandemic levels.
You need a governor who's going to lean into this issue, and that is what I'll do as the next governor. I'm going to make sure that able-bodied participants get to work. This governor will never say that because he's beholden to the far left, and he cannot speak out and say that able-bodied people, we need to get you back into our workforce.
Cameron's economic plan says he will promote a culture of work in Kentucky, but does not detail how he'll get more people back to work. And we should note, it's not just Kentucky. Statistics show workforce participation is below pre-pandemic levels all across the country. 1.5 million fewer Americans are working now compared to February 2020. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And even before it plummeted during the pandemic, as you see here, Kentucky's workforce participation rate steadily declined since the year 2000, and it has consistently trailed the national average. So right now, Kentucky's workforce participation rate is about 57%. The national average is 62.6%. So as we've outlined here, a number of issues are to blame, which also means there's not just one solution to the problem.